Hi. Alright, so this week I'm going to be doing a review on Mary Lou's Legend. I was loaned this book by a friend who told me that it was like one of the best dystopians he's read in a really long time, and I was like, I'll read it. And I did, and you'll have to watch and see what I thought. So, if you haven't read the book yet, go read it and then come back, because there will be spoilers. So first I'm going to talk about characters. There are two protagonists in this story. One is named June, and the other is named Day. And they have a dual narrative going on, so the chapters will switch off every other. I really liked both of them, and first I'm going to talk about June. June's a good character. I definitely would feel sympathy for her when things happen, like when her brother died and stuff like that. The way that she's written, you can feel her emotions really well. Like, you never feel disconnected from her emotions. And I thought that she was a pretty 3D character. She had, lots of different character aspects, and she was a real person. Then there's Day, and he's my favorite character. I just loved him. I loved to read him. Like, just when I was reading his chapters, I didn't want to stop. The way that his narration went was just really interesting, and I just really liked to read it. His main driving force is his family, and I really like that because a lot of times in books, especially action ones, they kind of forget about the family, or the whole family like dies or something like that. But in this, basically his motivation is to keep his family safe, and I really liked that. I really liked his backstory too, and I liked that we didn't get it right away. It took us a while, and a lot of it we actually found out through June. Like when she found out about his score on the trial, things like that, which was really interesting. We wouldn't get it in a flashback and stuff like that. More often than not, we got it with Day telling her something or her finding it out, or for her backstory, kind of the opposite way, but not as much. I couldn't have necessarily guessed. Like, I could have taken some parts of it and kind of guessed that, but I would not have been able to guess that he got a perfect score. I would not have guessed that. So that was kind of nice to get something unexpected. So a lot of people say that the two characters, June and Day, are really similar and that they couldn't really tell the difference when they switched from one chapter to the other. And a couple things I want to say about that. If you don't notice the big name at the top of the chapter saying who's narrating it, pretty stupid. I think what they mean to say is that the writing styles were similar. And while that was somewhat true for me, I understood why. I think it was on purpose because Day and June are very similar people. And I think that's going to create conflict in the future books because this is probably a trilogy, is at least a series. But both of them are stubborn, both of them have a lot of baggage, both of them got perfect trial scores, and both of them are very physically, active. So I just think that they have a lot of similarities in their character, and both of them have families important to them, more so with Day than with June, but her motivation is to find her brother's murderer, so in that way, she's family motivated as well. I didn't really have an issue with their similarities because I thought that it was not an accidental thing, it was on purpose. The one negative thing about these two characters is that they do things that most 15-year-olds wouldn't. I was surprised every time they said they're 15. I expected them to be more like 17 or 18. I don't have as much with an issue that June is young to be pushed into the military because she's a prodigy and they kept pushing her up and up and up and up. But 15 years old as an agent in the police is a little bit weird. I'd be happier if she was 18 or 19. And same with Day, their biggest criminal is 15 years old. That just seems a little young. I just wish that their ages had been up a little bit. It would have made it just a little bit more believable. A prodigy who's really good and really smart and really good at physical activity, who's 18, is a lot more believable than someone who's 15. Even if they've just been 16, just 15 seems too young. That's my one criticism of those characters. Then another character that I want to talk about is Tess, and she's Day's best friend, co-pilot kind of thing, and he kind of treats her like a little sister. And I really like Tess. She was adorable. She's 13, and I like her age. And actually, I think it would have been better if they were older and Tess had kept her age because there would have been even more of a split between their ages and made Day seem even more like a big brother type of deal, kind of like June's brother was for her. I wish that we had got to see even more of Tess. We got a lot of her at the beginning, which is good, but once Day was captured, she kind of disappeared for the most part, and I'm hoping that we'll get to see more of her in the next one, because I'm pretty sure that their next like point of action is to go and like rescue her from the Patriots, I guess. So I'm hoping that we'll get to see a lot more of her and that she won't have gotten completely cold from the Patriots, like that they won't have changed who she is, that she'll still be the cute little kid that she was before. Because, I mean, she was homeless and on the run, and she still managed to be a sweet little girl, so I'm hoping that she'll still be that way. And her character is pretty complex as well. I especially loved hearing her backstory, kind of like the other characters, where the backstories are really interesting and you don't find them out right away, but like the fact that her parents are dead and she was like living on the street all by herself until Day found her, is just like, I really could see that. I could see that happening. So then Thomas. Thomas, I think, is a really good villain because I didn't expect it. The way that he acted at the beginning when he was like driving her and Matthias home was very much like a chauffeur where they don't really talk and they call him Miss whatever. But then at the end, like as soon as Matthias dies, he just like changes, and I think that was on purpose. And if it wasn't, then it's like, nah. But if it's on purpose, and at least it feels that way, then it's really good because it's like, it's almost like he felt like he was being held back by Matthias, and that once he was dead, he could kind of be who he wanted to be and do what he wanted to do. It almost gave him this confidence, which is creepy. I thought that he was a really good villain, and I liked that we didn't quite know all the way through. Like, we kind of were getting the idea that, like, well, he was not necessarily a good person since he was willing to just kill Day's mom and stuff like that. But we didn't really know that he killed Matthias until the end. There weren't really that many clues and stuff dropped, which I liked because it was more as like organic, like June would find out. So then what do I think about the story? I really liked it. It's definitely refreshing in a dystopian genre because it isn't so like the same as all the others. There isn't really a love triangle unless you count Thomas, but she's not at all interested in him. He just likes her. So I don't count it. And it's just really different, and the world is different. They're not all like, I mean, they are split up, but it's not like the same as like the Hunger Games or Divergent, which I like both of those, but it's just different. And that's nice. It drew me in right away, but then the first chapter I was completely hooked, and that's a good sign. And I really did like the dual narrative. Sometimes it doesn't work as well as other times. I usually like it, and I thought it worked really well here because we were able to actually find out more about the opposite narrator when we were reading. So if I was reading June, I would be actually learning more about Day, and vice versa, and that's really interesting and different. And I definitely wanted to keep reading, like, no matter, like, I would just get back from class and sit down and read. Like, I wouldn't even care if I had other things I had to be doing. I would just read. And it was really, like I've said before, it was really original, and it was complex, and there was definitely thought that went into it. It wasn't like, what will I do to make the most money off of this? What will I do to make it the most palatable to young adult readers or anything like that? It was definitely, she had a world in her mind, and she had characters in her mind, and she wanted to bring them to life. I didn't really expect that going, and I wasn't really sure what to expect. Like, the friend who I got it from was really excited about it, and so I was like, yeah, I'll read it. I trust her judgment in books. But I wasn't really 100% sure what I was going to think, and I was happily surprised. As far as writing style goes, it was pretty good. I didn't really have any major problems with it. There were like a couple like grammar issues, like commas and stuff that I noticed, but that's really nitpicking. And if I have to nitpick, that means that it was pretty good. If that's like the biggest problem that I have is comma issues, that shows just how good the writing really was. And like I said before, the narratives do sound very similar at times, but I don't think it's too much. I could tell which character was talking, even if I hadn't read which character, like the name at the top. But, and again, like I said before, it was pretty, I thought it was on purpose, and I thought it was intentional. And so, I really don't have any complaints as far as writing style goes. So, what rating do I give this book? Well, I gave it a 4, and I think I probably would have given it a 5, except for that I never give books 5, hardly ever. But if I was going to, this might be one that I did 5 stars on. I might have to go and change my rating on Goodreads, because I really can't think of one negative aspect of the entire book, which makes it a 5-star book. So 4 or 5, probably leaning towards 5. So it's a really great book. I definitely recommend it if you haven't read it already, which you should have if you're watching the video. I know that I can't wait to read the second one. I've got it on hold at the library right now. It's called Prodigy, and I'll be doing a review on that one as well. So see you next week. Bye. Alright, so I am officially now going to be making weekly videos I'm filming them Wednesdays, and if this uploads on Wednesday, then I'll be having them every Wednesday. If it uploads on Thursday, it'll be every Thursday, because I don't know how long it'll take to edit and get everything set up. So whenever it's uploaded this week, that's when it'll be uploaded every week.